My wallet is sobbing. I can hear it. I can hear it in the hall now. It is breaking down, crying.
It turns out that Attila, the arrogant so-and-so, he's got a fake hammer.
Oh, a fake?
Yeah.
Whoa. As I say, dick.
So welcome to episode 65 of the Figura Legions podcast. And this week we're going to dive deeper into version 2s, what version 2s we'd like to come, what ones we think are going to come. And we're going to try and take a hand at predicting the next Figura Obscura, which we think, judging by the way things have been done over the last while, it might be pretty soon that we see a Figura Obscura coming. So again, no inside info at all. We are the Figura Legions podcast. We haven't got a clue. So this is purely speculation. And that is Malcolm Kennedy, one of my co-hosts. How are you, Mal?
I am all good, thank you.
Yeah. Have the kids stopped screaming outside?
Just the occasional bit of noise.
It's all good.
I had to tell them off for throwing a ball at my window. Yes.
Oh, you had to be the cranky old man. Yeah.
That was the game, was throwing a ball at my bathroom window, and I was like,
oh no, okay.
Serious?
Okay, no, if it was on purpose, then that's not good. Yeah. If it was just an accident. Yeah. We used to, still feel like it's only yesterday I was the guy doing the kicking the ball, but now, yeah. And Rich, how are you?
I am tickety-boo.
Yeah?
This
How's
week,
the gerbil?
Yeah. The gerbil's still healthy.
Good, that's great to hear.
Some may say a little too healthy. There's a bit of a tub going on there. It has to be. I think he's comfort eating, having lost his buddy.
Yeah, I can imagine, of course. And I suppose you've had to reduce the amount of food.
Quite dramatically, because he really is a little fat so-and-so.
Okay.
It's like Kerry picked him up, and my wife, and she was just like, look at the rolls of fat around his neck. Oh my God, looks like a hamster, not a gerbil.
Yeah.
So, yes, so his food is being cut right back.
Oh, yeah. It's like everyone, I think everyone that follows our show knows I have cats. We have 4. And I'm kind of so happy that the weather's getting better because there's less in the cat box, because during the midwinter, it's like, it's a rough station emptying the cat boxes every day. We have 3 cat boxes, down in the basement, so we don't have to at least suffer them during the day, so to speak. But yeah, not fun. So yeah, they can go outside, of course not in other people's gardens, but find somewhere under the hedges or something. Nobody's going to care about that. And
biodegradable anyway. So.
Exactly, it's biodegradable. As long as I don't have to touch it in the meantime, or accidentally touch it. Although I don't do much gardening, let's be honest, that's more my wife's hobby. So, yeah.
I made the mistake of going down the garden barefoot the other day, and I came back in and I suddenly went, what is that? And looked down and I'd suddenly load of pigeon poo.
Oh.
So my bare feet were covered in pigeon poo. So just like,
oh my goodness. Did you ever have a bird poo on you? Like accidentally?
I have once. Yeah. It was on the way to a work conference and it shat all down me at the station. So that was fun. So I was trying to wipe my shirt, like going, oh, brilliant, here we go.
And you had to continue about your day? You
had to continue, yeah. It was like, there's no going home to get changed. It was
supposed to be good luck, although I don't see how.
It's just the most ridiculous statement ever.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And I had a very fun thing this week. I had an injection in my shoulder because they finally found out where the pain in my shoulder was coming from, and why I'm getting a pain down my arm, and why I've been haven't been able to play golf or anything like that. And when I lift things at a certain angle, I suddenly lose power. So it's the joint right up here on the top of my shoulder, kind of at the front, even though all the pain is at the back. So, that's why I had to have an MRI, because they could be sticking needles all in the back of my shoulder. They wouldn't have hit the right spot. And the joint there was inflamed, and it was touching into the muscle, and then just causing kind of inflammation around it. And then obviously the nerve gets touched there as well. So, but thankfully no shoulder surgery or anything like that needed. So that was good, because my doctor was very happy about that. So I've had an injection yesterday. He said I could be a bit red-faced for a couple of days. So, if I am a little bit red-faced, it's not because I've been eating too many fried foods. At least that's my excuse. And hopefully might have to get a second injection if it's not quite cleared up, but I think that should be the hope, most of it. So, and that's since Legions Con last year. This flared up basically after the flight back. So
wow,
that's just such a pain, you know.
Yeah. But if anyone sees you at Legions Con and you're looking very red-faced this year, obviously he's just had another injection. It's nothing to do with the proximity of the Irish bar.
Yeah. Or Rich has just stabbed me for annoying him in the room. I've kind of flushed up a bit.
I've just opened a couple of figures just to wind you up and you're just like furious.
Oh, no. And actually, we do get on well, so I don't think we even need to fake this podcast, which is probably one of the best things.
No, not at all.
Cool. So
say yes, we get on really well.
You're supposed to read it. You're supposed to read it better than that. Sorry.
No,
This is how well scripted this is. Yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, when John says. And then another little thing to announce for our Patreons: I have the pins. So in a baggie, maybe I should take it out of the baggie for the. Yeah, go check out our YouTube if you want to see this. Although I have posted it for the Patreons as well. Oh, making lovely bag noises here. Everyone loves that. Just trying to do an impression of Rich. So there they are. We've gone with the black background. It's a kind of a gold metallic with white and yellow lettering for the words. And then it's kind of this goldish metallic on the back with the QR code that still doesn't quite work, but I wasn't going to pay more money to get something else on the back there because it would have been having to be retooled again. So I was like, okay, we've just chest her arm. It's not that important.
What you said, that lady sounds quite scary. So don't anger her. Just take
she's lovely.
She's just like,
she's lovely. It's just a little bit of language barrier in addition to, you know, talking to anyone over email / messenger, you know, and she has a time difference obviously to us of 8 hours. So you kind of get the messages and then suddenly they stop. And then 8 hours later, you have to try and pick up the conversation again. And they're talking about terms that you don't really understand, like electroplating. And I'm like, does that cost more? No. Okay, well, let's see if that, you know, because I was talking about getting the metallic effect, you know. And obviously that's how they do the metallic effect. So, yeah. So anyway, got there in the end. But, you know, as it wasn't a huge time pressure on these, but yeah, we'll try and get them out. I would imagine the listeners this side of the Atlantic might get them a little bit earlier than the others. So that's what we see. I'm probably going to try and hook up with somebody in the States to ship them all to and get them to ship to our listeners around America, because I think shipping a small envelope will cost a lot from here compared to there. So, yeah, let's see what we can do with that. And obviously, Rich and Mal will distribute to our few UK viewers, and I will do Europa. So, anyway, enough of the logistics. Did you boys see Legions Lounge this week, where they had this fun show? I think myself and...
Let me say yes, but I've forgotten what they discussed.
You haven't caught up yet, you know. We're not looking at it.
I will be watching it, boys. Don't worry.
There's a lot of content.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to keep up, but we understand that ourselves with our show. So what
everyone needs to realise is I have been watching a lot of Stargate SG-1 the last few weeks. So everything else in my life, family, everything, has to fit around the SG-1 episodes. So
if anyone of our Patreons wants us to do a Stargate SG-1 Patreon episode where Rich just educates me and Mal about it, feel free to drop a message and we'll see what we can do. Isn't that right, Rich?
No problem at all. I'm 3/4 of the way through series 9, so yeah.
Oh, there you go. So it'll just be wind them up and let them go. We can ask. I'll try and find the dumbest questions to ask you, like, you know. So who's the main character? Right. So they did a draft, which I think, Rich, you are very familiar with the whole draft thing because you're big into your NFL.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you play fantasy football in the American sense of it.
I don't. I play it in the UK side of things, but not in America.
And apparently they also do, or at least I think most of it's online now, but previously it used to be you'd get a bunch of friends over and you'd have a draft kind of where everyone would kind of write it down on a sheet and stuff. So it is a big traditional thing. They have divided all the basically positions. They've made a kind of a team. So they've done a leader, a mount, a weapon, a right-hand man, a fighter, a thief, a mage, muscle, troop, and spirit. And then they took turns in picking them. And obviously, if one is picked, you can't pick it. So, a lot of fun. They had a great show. I just wanted to bring up one little thing about our friend Trevor, which was that he's not too happy every time he listens to our intro. And I know this because he has mentioned it to us. And, all in good fun. He's not going to hold it too much against it. It's a funny quote from the show. I said, Trevor, you go back through the show and get me a couple more funny quotes. Could be hard to come by. And and I'll throw it in there instead. But, that never happened. So we're stuck with, our slagging off of Attila, which is all good. But Trevor picked Atlas as his leader. I mean, what do we have to say about that? I mean, Atlas is basically he's an mortal enemy now of Attila.
But it's good that he's admitted that he is better.
Yeah, which is is really it's really ramming our point home, about Attila, basically. And then he actually, in the kind of going backwards and forwards about who he'd picked, he actually was going to pick Arathir first, which is the direct opponent of Attila. So, yeah. And then falling right in line with our fake hammer theory, / not a theory, he picked the Heavensbrand sword. So,
Yep. There you go. Again, admitting it's a fake hammer. And that's all there is to it. It's useless.
Exactly.
A bit like Attila. Nearly said Atlas then.
That would have been correct, Mal, let's be honest. But okay.
And then his favourite, I think, out of the army of Odysseus, when I remember him talking about it before, and maybe even talked to when he was on with us one of the times, is Hadriana. And yet he picked Magnus.
He got a bit of stick for that from Curtis.
Yeah. And I mean, proper order, Curtis. So basically, he's picked Hadriana's underling, and in turn has admitted that actually Magnus is better. So I think case closed there on Trevor.
Yeah.
We can move along. Yeah.
He's outed himself.
Yeah. It's like Rich and his 2.0 bodies.
Yeah, so there you go, Trevor. We'll definitely won't steal this idea from your wonderful show, but we would love to be on someday and do a draft with you. So I know 6 people might be a lot, but could be fun.
Yep.
But yeah, and I'm sure they'll do it with some other guests as well as time goes on. So really cool, and I hope they maybe try and introduce some sort of point system or some sort of restrictions or budget or something that would really level it up. But it seems to have gone down really well. I've seen a lot of posts in the community about this, so all I have to say is sorry we didn't think of it first, huh?
It is a really good idea. Really
although it is
fun to watch.
It is more of an American tradition, so they were always more likely to think of it before us, which is cool. Right.
We can go down more of a British and Irish line and just say we'll pick Mythic Legions characters to queue. And who would you like to stand by in the queue? Who would be the loudest person in the queue? Who would be the most annoying, the most smelly?
The first in
who
the
would
queue.
kick off and try and push in? Yeah, that sort of stuff.
And are we talking Marks and Spencer's queues or Tesco queues or?
Yeah, we're talking
Aldi maybe.
Yeah, sales, Christmas sales, shopping on Boxing Day.
Ooh,
that's the one. Christmas sale queue.
I remember being in a supermarket once on Christmas Eve. I don't know why. I think somebody had forgotten something, and you literally had to queue to go down the aisle. I need some chicken stock. It's like, oh yeah, 20-person queue down the chicken stock aisle.
I did it once many moons ago. We went stroke of midnight on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. No, Christmas Eve, and they opened an M&S food place. At midnight, and yeah, you just couldn't move. It was people were throwing old people out of the way to get food. It's just madness.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, let's move on to part 1 of the main event of the show. Right. So the way that we have divided this up is we're talking about version 2 figures. So we'll talk about maybe a bit about why, and I don't know if anyone has any ideas what they'd like them to do in the version 2s, but we certainly will do a little bit of predicting and what we want and etc. etc. And Mal was the first one done with his homework, so he had the structure of what does he think is definitely going to come this year in the near future, and what does he really want. And so we followed that structure for all three of us. And as Mal was first done with his homework, we have his what he thinks we'll definitely get this year and why. And some of these surprised me, Mal, I have to say. Not your first one, but the other two, actually, I was quite surprised.
They might be a bit, yeah. I mean, they might be a bit sort of wide of the mark, or I could have,
That's not a problem. We nobody's going to check,
aren't we? But yeah, so Otho, I feel like that's got to be a given for this year. It feels like the perfect year for it. It's become such an iconic figure. In a way, it's one of the cult. As getting close, you get in a little community to a cult favorite, and I feel like it's more probable than us getting a dragon, quite honestly, this year.
Yeah, and I'd be down with that.
yeah, same. And then the other two, it was a bit of a wild swing based on. It was funny that, well, it feels like it's been a little while since we've gotten elves again. Now it's sort of, what was it? Last sort of elves were they were the War of the Aetherblade elves, but before that it was the ones in the Alithia and the wave. Don't get characters at least.
Not Alithia. It was Soulspiller was the one previous to that, with the Shadow Elf Ranger.
I just mean getting elf
body
characters.
Style. Oh, okay.
Any sort of elf characters was the Alithia and...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we had Artemis and all those guys, yeah.
Yeah, Artemis. And it just seemed funny that... I know they said they kept it to the more simple ones. That's shared parts and that sort of thing. But that's part of the reason I went with these two, is because they could actually do... They had the Elf Ranger and the Elf Warrior, and they had the Dark Elf Ranger and the Dark Elf Warrior.
Yeah.
It would make sense that then these two could somewhat share parts. And in fact, I actually did think they had the same head, but they don't.
And who were these two then?
Sorry, yes. This is Malachi Cinderhorn and Lord Aidan.
There you go.
And they both
figures.
And they're both... If you read their bios, are quite central characters. They've, Lord Aidan particularly is the advisor to Artemis. Malachi is basically the ruler of the Dark Elves.
Quite a big job, I'd say.
Yeah. It was just putting a few things together, and then, as I say, whilst I think they're quite left field, they actually feel like they'd work this year, And
what could you do to improve them? Would you keep the scale?
What would I do? Well, both of them. Well, Malachi is going to be more soft goods to fit in with because he's a member of Poxus, Circle of Poxus. So again, put him a bit more in line with the recent wizards, although. It being a bit more of a warrior as well, you kind of want to keep the leather armor, but we're getting some new leather armor, aren't we, coming out in the Noble Bear wave? And of course, it's not beyond them to completely redesign and create new parts for version 2s. And then Lord Aidan, whilst again he's a bit more of a warrior elf, perhaps with him being a bit more regal and a bit more, a bit more in that. Would be in the court of sort of the regal court. Maybe he could do a few soft goods, a bit of slightly better soft goods, which would differentiate them a bit. Whilst I could see them sharing parts, as I say.
You could do with better ankles anyway, isn't that right, Rich?
That wouldn't be difficult. Let's be honest.
I had him in the yoga pose on a bunch of stones on my display at some stage because he just wouldn't stay up, and I thought, well, let's just put him chilling out.
I've got figure, Lord Aidan is riding a stag. So
so
he's safe.
No
from
ankles
falling.
required. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the face on these two is the same, Mal. It's just the head dress thing.
It's not. That's what I
Really?
thought as well. If you look close, Lord, I tell you what, the elves in the flock are all miserable buggers if you look at their faces.
Yeah.
But Malachi's actually got a smirk on his face rather than a frown.
And that's not just the paint, no?
No. I'm
going to look at it again.
I've had a real good look.
You've already looked again. Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. So
that was originally part of my thinking. As
no
I say,
cheaping out there.
Same. Yeah. But yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's my thinking behind them.
Well, Jeremy, let us know if we're actually wrong. But cool. So, and more to say about these, Rich. Shall we move on to yours? And
two of these are in my list as well.
Yeah.
So I agree.
I was surprised to see more than Otto in your list, actually, of these two. So that was interesting for me. So here we are.
So yeah,
Riches.
so I've gone for Otho again, like Mal. I think it's an absolute shoe-in. It'll be a dereliction of duty, dare I say, by the Horsemen if they don't release Otho version 2 this year. I will be leading the pitchfork mob at Legions Con. No, I won't be. I'm not that fussed, but I think it will definitely be a release. I still think we get him with an Urzoc version 2 as well. I think Urzoc is screaming for an update. It's a brilliant. I mean, it's a great figure, but you can give him. I think you've said before, John, like the faction shield, maybe. I'd love to see him like a brute scale version, or even if you kept him as 1.0, you can give him fancier armor. It's a very basic head sculpt. Let's have a bit more of a cool face sculpt, maybe with a scar. You know, everybody loves an orc with a scar.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way to go. Even maybe, and this would be really cool, like a visor that goes up. So you got an orc helmeted head with a visor that goes up as well.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
So that would be good.
That would be sweet.
And some sort of big ass, pardon my language, weapon. So he comes with a sword, which is fine, but let's get a club or a mace or some sort of grisly orc weapon.
More of a
and I still
smashy.
reckon as a 2-pack that would be a possibility, but I think the two of those are pretty much gimmies.
I would love if they did them as 2-packs, you know, to maybe squeeze the most value for us and also for them in terms of the pricing. So,
I mean, with Otho, I don't think you need to do. I mean, again, it's very basic, so they'd probably update the soft goods.
Yeah. I think he'd
maybe
be
some
up
sort of
didn't
emblem
we
or crest maybe on the chest rather than just a plain like he's got at the moment.
Didn't we say maybe they might do it like Gideon in terms of the soft goods over the armor?
That would be a good look. Yeah, I mean, they seem to be heading down that way now, don't they? So to continue that would definitely be a good look.
I'd see a bit of moaning though if they did too much changes from people.
Oh, there's a bit of moan. They could give out free money to the fans. That's
not a reason not to do it. I'm just saying, you know.
Eventually, everyone
is the reality.
They'd look at it and be like, actually, this is really good.
And to be honest, anyone that wants to recreate the old one, you know, just have your head sculpt then for a very good price, and you can repaint the parts, or, you know, it's very easily. It's just the blue tabard and skirt piece, isn't it?
That's it. I mean, realistically, like Atlas, well, that's not true because there's more to Atlas, but the head is the most iconic
it's
the most.
It's the real rare piece.
Yeah. They want to, whatever they do, they need to do what they did with this. Where I was going, meant with this is like Atlas, keep it very similar, but tweak it enough, unless they feel it's fine as it is, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Similar reasons to Mal for Malachi. It's, you know, the Shadow Elves are back. You know, they've redone runs of 2 of them, sort of thing. So it would make perfect sense to put him in. I'd want to see him with a really fancy cloak, not just like better soft good cloak, but like fur lined, like a proper regal sort of thing.
Velvet.
He comes across as that sort of arrogant.
Would be nice.
Yeah,
yeah,
that sort of arrogant so and so sort of thing. So
even like almost like the Father Christmas type soft goods.
Yeah, something like that. I could absolutely see him wearing something like that, and that would work. Obviously, they have it.
Yeah.
I
maybe
think
make it more
crown.
open. You know. Don't need the belt, maybe, or something.
Yeah. I think he'd go bigger crown. I think his crown at the moment is a bit too elvish. I think they might want to go away from that a little bit. So maybe some sparkly jewels in there as well. I mean, he's got a really good smirky face anyway, but an even more evil smirking face would be great. Yes. Maybe an evil cackle. Maybe one raised eyebrow.
Oh, yeah.
Or a goatee. If they're going really evil, give him a goatee.
with twirly mustache.
Yeah. And maybe some sort of new adornment for the top of his staff. Yeah. So again, he's the
and
magic
maybe a
king,
staff
so
that you don't have to smash his hand open to hold.
Seriously, that staff will not stay in that hand.
I was thinking maybe you should hold it in the middle there, where it gets thinner, but then it's too far down.
Yeah, then he won't stand up because it's
in the official picture there, they don't have it there. So yeah,
that was glued in for that official picture. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Next up is Thord Ironjaw. I think with the dwarf renaissance that we're having at the moment, I was debating whether a version 2 of Thord would look out of place with the original version of both are being re-released as part of All Stars. But no, I think just do a cool Thord. Go crazy with the beard. Let's get more braiding in.
New dwarf parts. If it's not if it's going to be a pre-order, then obviously they can use the new dwarf parts.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Or if they've got them, if they've got them tooled up already, they could always maybe release them a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
part of this. I mean, that could be
some new armored dwarf parts. I mean, again, we when we're doing this, when they're making their version 2s, they do create new parts for them. So,
and they have a trend now to maybe tool some extra stuff when they're tooling stuff, new stuff. If they have a space in a tool that would otherwise go to waste, rather than wasting the big block of metal, they could tool up some stuff that they see in the future. So
absolutely, bit more of a gnarly weapon for him too.
Yeah.
And some sort of cool dwarf shield. I think at the moment the shields are very... I mean, I know there's a new one coming with the Rock Suns thing, obviously, and that's great. But I don't know, maybe some sort of really weird shaped shield, although that's probably the only character you could use it for, but I think that would be good.
What I'd like to see with any version 2s of dwarves is unhelmeted heads.
Yeah.
And a helmeted head, because I think the dwarf heads are so fun when they're unhelmeted.
They sure are, yeah. Yeah, that would be great. And as Rich said, I'd be down for a shield. Maybe a purely wooden one. I'd love to see their take on like a really kind of wooden shield, even with a bit of damage on it or something, It might be very specific, but might be worth it for a top tier character to...
Yeah, absolutely.
Could he be the figure they give the noble bear? I know we've got an equivalent of it, but something a bit more like the other shields. But for noble bear, would he perhaps fit that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Would he have a fancy shield like that though?
Yeah, maybe not. He's a bit more of a battle.
Yeah. Unless his teeth were sharpened on it, he could just use it to slash people with the open bear mouth. Maybe that,
or maybe a battle damage version of that shield, huh?
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. The next one I'm hoping we don't get, but I have a horrible feeling we will, which is Hera Serpentspire.
I give with one hand. I put her on my list. I take with another. I tell her. I say that I don't want her.
Despite my supposed dislike of 2.0, despite naming lots of them as my favourite figures in each wave and faction, she's a really good figure. I don't see the need to redo her. I think it would be a wasted space. There's other figures that you could do more with and make them much better than the original versions. So I think
she'd be a beneficiary of maybe a soft goods pack.
She could, yes.
If they were to ever do that.
Yeah.
Well, there's weapons pack now. I mean, the Pox's weapons packs, you could definitely get her staff from there. Yeah.
But I think they will make her just purely because she's a faction leader, isn't she? So
yeah,
I think you're right. I agree 100% with both of them. I think perhaps they could improve and make the hair a bit articulated or something like that. But yeah, I mean, the original figure it's just a really pretty figure. It's a little piece of art.
Yeah, it's a great figure.
Yeah.
And I will deny saying that if anyone says it because it's a 2.0. It's a great figure. And then lastly, Asterion. I think they need to, and I hope they'd want to go brute scale.
Oh, yes.
For the Minotaurs.
Oh, yes, please.
Nothing wrong with 1.0 Minotaurs. I've got half a dozen in custom ones in my collection, but bigger is better for Minotaurs sort of thing. So, brute scale, they've got a lot of the parts already sort of thing. You could give him the fancy faction shield as well. There's no reason why not. Maybe a new axe, like a big beefy axe, but like a newly designed beefy axe, I think would be great as well.
Now that we've had a chance to get the Silverhorn Sentries, that I think he's the leader of, isn't he? So we'll be able to have him with his a few extra. If anyone has, like me, got maybe 3 or 4 of them in the last reinforcements, then you'll have your Asterion at the front. Be awesome.
Yeah. So I'd love to see him, and I think there's a very good chance we'll get a bigger one of him.
It'll be.
My wallet is sobbing. I can hear it in the hall now. It is breaking down, crying.
He's
I've got
definitely.
to say, I really wouldn't mind that body in, his style body sort of colours and tones in a brute scale figure. So that would be awesome if we got him. And can you imagine just a huge cow head on top of it all?
Yeah,
then you
exactly.
can
You get a chance to sculpt a new, like a really angry looking cow head.
And you've also got a great base body for making brute scale barbarian. There's loads of great custom heads for that. That you could, the companies will start to offer them slightly sized up for the brute scales, and away you go.
Yeah, and they've shown with some of the sculpts too that actually they work fine on the brute bodies.
They do. It depends on some of the helmets, especially, seem to work quite well on the brute scale.
Yeah. So I think we might get a 6-figure wave.
Yeah.
Initially, I was thinking, we get like a dozen. It's like no, they don't want to outdo the G-Con stuff. But I think a 6-figure wave would be small enough they could drop it into a gap in the schedule, give us something new rather than the All Stars, and blow our socks off.
Yeah, I think that's fair, because we
about the wave.
Yeah. I suppose that's why you've only kind of picked a few, but I think we generally have been getting 2 a year anyway. So why not give us a wave of 6 or more? Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd love it if they did.
3 2-packs. Happy days.
It's funny, isn't it? Because when I was doing the 2 elves in my head, it was like it'd make quite a good 2-pack because they're sort of the count, the opposites of each other in terms of the elves.
Yeah, but you've got you could have Hera and Malachi here, and obviously Otho and Urzak, but the other 2, they're in good factions, aren't they?
It could be a buddy pack.
Yeah, well, I'm done with that.
So it's not an enemies pack. It's a drinking pals pack.
Ooh, let's go.
Little Stein in there as well. Boom, done.
Legions Con drinking buddies pack. There you go. Right, shall we move on to mine? And I think there's been a lot of crossover. I remember when I put these slides together, Rich, I had done mine and I didn't have to take too many away. And there we go. You see that Otto and Thord and Urzak are in the same place. I know on your message, Mal, you did mention Etheron and Xylona as kind of, you were thinking probably going to get them. That's why I just put them in here. I wasn't sure if you wanted to include them in yours. So I have, as I said, Otto, Thord and Urzak that Rich has covered, and I think we agree with. Sir Galeron is an interesting one. I think he seems to me from his bio to be an important character, which is why I think it's worthwhile them revisiting him as a version 2 and giving us an alternative head and maybe a slightly different build in the armor with all the new parts that they have got now. This could be fun,
a chance, wouldn't it, to get that armor color in, which is obviously completely different to the one in the picture here because that doesn't represent it. But just another cool armor color back in again.
What sort of an unhelmeted head do you think he'd have? Would he be kind of quite mean looking, or?
I'm trying to remember his bio. What does his bio say?
Although Sir Galeron is one of Gideon's Heaven's Brand's most notable and heroic allies, there is a subtle darkness lurking beneath the surface. As a spearman and standard bearer in the Etherian army, he inevitably seeks to be on the front lines in every battle. Galaron is fueled not only by his innate goodness, but by an unquenchable thirst for revenge against those responsible for mysterious events in his troubled past.
So if there's a hint of evil, then clearly the goatee.
Yeah.
With an unhelmeted head.
and
I'm
Pointy
thinking,
goatee. Evil pointy goatee. Stereotype
Goatee, yeah.
straight away, yeah.
or maybe like a scarred head, maybe missing, like it. I don't want to get too Game of Thrones-y sort of thing, but some things happened in the past where he's like missing part of his hair, like the Hound or whatever sort of thing. And that sort of scarred look that something went completely wrong.
I'd love a bald, but around the back and sides, bit of hairs, that kind of bald.
Like all the best people.
Bald. Yeah. So I was going to say rich, but that combined with a goatee would be pretty.
When you were saying it, I thought you meant bald.
Or mutton chops
there,
rich. Could be a Rich Jones Facebook profile tribute head.
That's what's so mysterious about him.
With a slightly purple tinge in the eyes, yeah. In the iris of the eyes, that'd be perfect. Cool, yeah. So lots of fun to be had there with Sir Galaron, and like a lot of the Etheron characters, great figures in a sucky faction. Yeah, so the other two then are heavy hitters. Etheron is the leader of Etheron, and Xylona is the leader of Xylona's flock. I think that Etheron, the main problem with him is that he's not available. Availability
unless you look on the Jones,
low.
1, 2, 3, 4 on each.
And at a price that would be, good for most collectors. And Xylona, well, okay, she mightn't be very available now, but she was definitely available for much longer than Etheron and is more plentiful out there and probably still isn't close to the Etheron level. But, and she's not a great figure, to be honest.
There's something about her.
She's cool to look at, She's cool to look at, and I'm delighted to have her, but I didn't get her in my original order. I got her on the big bad restock. Yeah. Very early in, because by that stage I'd been reading the lore and I was like, okay, I'm really not very smart that I haven't picked up the leader of a faction that's kind of relatively available, So I was like, right, got to get her. And she's cool, but still doesn't really stand out compared to. You wouldn't see her as the leader when you see her on the shelf. No. Maybe the horns help, but. Yeah,
you know what would work for her, John, and I've said it before on the show. Swept back battle antler look.
I tell you what, I could get down with that.
She literally just pushes him back and goes, "Bring it! Here we go."
I would definitely get down with that. I'd definitely down with that. If they, you could do a customizer job and Dremel in the head, and because those antlers are kind of go in with a little. It's almost like a little flat kind of piece. It's not round, it's kind of a flat peg, and you could maybe fill in the current peg and kind of drill out one that makes them go back. I don't know how those antlers would look going back, or even reverse them. I don't know how they look backward the wrong way. Maybe they look, but I think you'd prefer the antlers to be all a little bit bent backwards, all the little individual strands of the wood, or the horns or whatever. So she's great. She comes with, of course, the silver cord bow, which is awesome, in a slightly different paint app to what you get with Artemis too. So that's sweet. And you get great weapons with her. You get those two, are they like scimitars that kind of go together? Yeah. And a nice sword. It's again the standard kind of big sword that a lot of figures have, like Urzok there in the other picture. And of course, you get the quiver for the bows. So
she's certainly well armed.
Yeah. Yes, you get a lot of stuff. Like a lot of the figures in Avenant Decay, you were not shortchanged on accessories whatsoever. Consider, Urzok's got a really cool painted shield there, but he's got the sword and alternate head. There's going to be more than that in version 2. Thord has got what? A sword? Pauldrons. They were, that was back when they counted the pauldrons as kind of really as the accessories. I know they still do, but nobody counts them now. Right, we good with the? Sorry, yeah, go.
Go on, Rich.
One of you, yeah.
I'd say the one thing I would say is that I don't think we'll see Ethron and Silona this year because I think.
Oh, interesting. Tell us why.
I think they'll bring them out at the same time as Leodicius and.
Oh, you think it'll be in?
So I'm sort of the same as that, but I think they'll all be in the same year. I think they'll lead waves like the Horsemen did. Whether the waves will be done in the same format, I think they'll be like the, what would you call it, kind of the star character of the wave kind of thing.
Would that not be the gods, the four kind of good gods?
I think that's another thing altogether. That's another year of waves.
Sounds
I hope
good.
they don't lead waves because that will just mean we're getting the same factions against each other. So
By waves, I really just mean, a selection of the figures from that. I don't necessarily mean in the same format as we have had. Just,
I wouldn't mind
unless they're
just
all
getting
leading
a leader's
lizard men
wave.
armies,
Yeah.
in which case I'm fine. Lizard
The
men
lizards
that fight
have
in the
taken
trees,
over.
Silona. Lizard men that are holy. Ethron. It's just like, yeah, there we go.
Have you got your savage crucible lizards?
Not
mention
yet.
the-
They could slightly off top. No, they've mine was. I was going to say mine was a big order. It was only 14 figures. I wouldn't say necessarily it was a big order, but
Did you get
they
all
saved
ins
it.
or?
I went an all in and then a fair few duplicates. Mal's shaking his face at me. Hey, it was a different time. It was a different time. Yeah.
And anything turning up on
was
the
a
Jones
Tuesday.
1, 2, 3, 4 for our listeners?
Hopefully not, because hopefully I'll love them all and keep them all. But they decided to split the big orders into smaller parcels. So instead of sending all the figures together, I have 4 separate parcels coming my way, which is crazy, quite frankly. And it's going to cost me more money because I'll pay slightly less in import VAT, but I'll get hit with a £12.50 handling fee for the 3 lots, 3 boxes of World Cup and import fee. So that's a bit frustrating. I mean, not the end of the world, but a little bit frustrating.
That's okay.
There's something that happened to me. Sorry to cut in, but yeah. So I set up automatic billing on FedEx ages ago. If you remember, I then had a couple of issues where they were double billing me. Then this late, I had a parcel from Big Bad. They haven't billed me automatically.
I'm still waiting for the bill on my reinforcements order that I've received 2 months ago. And I just got the bill for my Poxus delivery, which was a month before that. So that's how it works.
All sorts of, yeah.
That's how they're just slow with the billing.
Oh, well, they've sent me, they sent me the thing going, oh, you've got duties to pay, but I didn't pay it because I was like, well, I'll pay it and then they'll take the money
Never
off me.
sent you the bill, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Rich.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say from the feedback I've seen, though, so far for Savage Crucible, then they're going to be throwing themselves off the shelves like the 2.0 Mythics do. So
Yeah, there's a bit of... But Bill
them
from
down a
Dorclair has a great review today of one of the figures.
Yes.
I don't like the aesthetic with the double shoulders and stuff, but that's personal preference, so I can't say that they didn't do anything wrong there. I mean, they obviously built the figure that they wanted. The toe thing is ridiculous. I'm not a fan of that at all. I do understand that it's good for getting in other foes, but I've never had figures where that hasn't been a problem,
I know.
Sorry, Rich, go on.
I was going to say, it's such a small joint with the toes, isn't it, that you can't make it strong enough to be able to move it and hold a pose, it seems. But companies still try.
Yeah, and also the most interesting thing about the whole thing is the few former disgruntled Legions fans who I wonder who peed in their cornflakes or what the story is. Maybe if you DM me if you really want to give me the other side of the story, because I'm really interested. I don't really care, that's your own business, but there is a few guys in that group that are just so happy when someone says, I'm selling Legions, or does anyone want to trade Legions against Savage Crucible? Like it's like a victory for them, It's a little, it's very sad, but this is the way of the world. And again, shipping notices post, this is everywhere. This is not a Legions thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone wants to have a moan about shipping prices, 35 quid to ship 2 figures ship 1 figure or 2 figures or from Savage Crucible's website. So,
and number 3, and it's not hard, if you're going to do a live stream to promote your toy line, basic sound, come on. You know, you don't have to have creamy, beautiful, you know, professional podcast sound, but like not the kind of potato stuff that was on their last live stream. It's awful. And I know somebody commented on it, and I know that the guy was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it was me," blah blah blah. But like, just don't do it then. Don't be on the thing, you know. Don't bring down the other guys, you know, because that's all it takes. If one of us has a bad connection or a bad sound, it ruins the whole show for everyone, no matter what everyone is saying, you know.
Well, you're a monster, John, so you just cut me all out.
Yeah, but come on.
You just mute us completely like, no.
It's like we want people to listen to us. You know, this is the whole purpose of the show, is for people to listen to us. You know, it's like if I want to sell beer, the number one thing I'm going to do is have the beer taste nice. It doesn't matter if it's free. If it tastes like absolute garbage, people will be like, maybe, you know, I'll just, you know, you'll just be selling it to people that are alcoholics, and we don't want that. We want to include everybody. Right. So anyway, with that slight diversion, are we done with this year for all of us?
Yep.
This is what we're thinking. Now, obviously, we could get more, we could get less, we could get none, as we've said before. Then we went on to what we think might come soon, or, you know, so within the next year or two. What are the other version 2s that are possibly in the pipeline? And first, Mal, I've taken all these pictures from the website, and I know a lot of them are pre-Trevor, and that kind of shows you how some of these need to be maybe version 2. The picture of Carpathius is ridiculous.
I'm not sure you can do anything with Carpathius now. I think it'll look better.
Bless him.
Yeah, the sword, I don't know, put it down, touching the floor or something, I don't know.
He looks so boring, he may as well be wearing a cardigan and reading a newspaper.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? Carpathius has got to be. I mean, I don't know what you do with him, but he's got to be in there for a version 2, because I don't know, I'd be interested to hear what people at the studio thought of him, because he's just, I would, if an opportunity came up to get him for, like, you know, retail price, I'd get him just to add him to the collection, but he's so boring compared to any of the other vampires. The rest of them are so cool.
But his bio, I just refreshed the bio in my head now, and it looks like him, you know, paralyzing his victims with a poisoned tip blade and then slowly draining them of life. So, you know, you want a proper evil head sculpt, not one that looks like he's bored to be there.
That, yeah. Open that mouth, Carpathius, you know. Just
let's have a
not
proper,
just
like,
the buck teeth.
snarl.
Yeah.
Maybe
goatee, because he's pure evil.
I know it's not something they like to do, but maybe he's the one that could have a bit of blood around his mouth, as if he's you know, just feasted.
Or even just a poison-tipped sword, you know?
Yeah.
Or dagger, or whatever. Dagger, more likely, if, you know, if they're going to be doing a bit sneaky, stealthy.
Or maybe he could have like a talon glove, like talon-fingered glove with poison on the end of those. So he like swipes his victim and then
of course,
drains him.
I think vampires like Carpathius, if they're going to be done in the version 2, I think the more Duban/Valiant Knight, that type of torso size.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
definitely
still 1.0, but is thinner and not as bulky and a bit more. And obviously, if he had the arms like the Valiant Knight as well, you'd be able to move a lot more. Or put him in a lot more cool, articulated poses. So it'd be sweet.
Yep. Obviously got Urzok there. All the same sorts of things Rich said. So let's just sort of
yeah. He's a given at some point.
Yeah. Queen Urxa, I just feel like she's another one that they could do.
Keep the head.
She's not available, and they could do with a revisit. Yeah.
Keep the head and kind of jazz up the rest of her stuff.
Yeah. As I say, I'd love to see her in like a bigger scale.
Bone armor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be good. And like a 1.0 scale too would be much better.
Yeah. We talked about this, the kind of Neve scale, shall we say? It's 1.0, but, you know, female.
With not having many female orcs, it's not like they're opening a can of worms, even if they do that, are they? She's literally the only female orc at this point. So,
well, the Legion builder as well.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, but the named character, yeah.
Yeah. And it'd actually work better if the grunts are a bit scrawnier and she's a bit bigger in that respect.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Faunus. He's one of the best head sculpts that exists. He's one of the best sort of cool looking characters already. But he wouldn't half benefit from a bit of shushing up at this point. He's one of those that's looking a little bit dated.
Yeah.
I mean, and the funny thing...
Sorry, Mal, yeah.
Go on. No, what were you?
He's one of the ones that came in the mystery box that if somebody was looking to trade him for a figure that I had kind of, from the last, say, a few waves ago, that I had an extra of, I'd be straight away, yeah, I'll give you that for your phone. It's no bother.
Yeah, totally.
To have an extra. Anyway, yeah.
And I mean, you don't need to do anything with his staff. I still think that's one of the most fun staffs. Maybe could make it all wood rather than metal with a wooden tip. I don't know, but it works. So, it's not like he needs loads doing to him, but he could do, again, they've sort of started the ball rolling on where it looks like soft goods, making them soft goods, and it'd really work. But did we talk about this the other week? And Rich sort of saying there could be more wood on him or something more sticking through.
Like or tendrils cool. Or something like that would be, yeah.
Something like that would be cool. Just show off he's a bit more of like a sprite or whatever he's meant to be from the woods. Any other thoughts on him before I move on to the next?
No, I think he's one they could definitely do more with, but keep the head sculpt for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
And then I'll go to Freya because part of me doesn't think we will get a version 2 of Freya. But I really, really like her as she is. So when I say this, it's just what might they update, who they might update, and with thinking about the new things that they've done with figures and what's available. And she would just that whole thing of her being a Valkyrie and, the classic look of Valkyries being a bit bigger. That's the only not the only reason, but I'd love to see that from her, I'd love to see them bulk her up again using the female 1.0 body. Again, doesn't even need lots of changes. Maybe the new shield that they've done for Noble Bear. It doesn't need loads doing. Just a bit of zhuzhing up and a bit of bulking up.
Yeah.
And then the final one that I've put down, and again, this is sometime in the next couple of years, as you say, Malleus. And who knows? But when you compare him to every other sibling of the, or every other child of Necronominus, man, he's dull. And I'm sorry if Walter ever hears this, but he doesn't fit with the rest of them. Even, he didn't really fit with Brother Mandibulus and Morgulith. Again, just needs to be a bit more impressive. Especially
he absolutely suffers, doesn't he, from being really early in the line sort of thing. So, as you say, he's just been totally eclipsed by every other sibling.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him carrying the two double axes. The idea is he's just, he's super strong, and it probably doesn't matter with a skeleton if they're big or not. But there you go. Is there an opportunity he could be a brute scale skeleton?
Oh, yeah.
So, with the two big axes.
That would be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to Rich. And Rich went a bit mal on us here.
Yeah, I went a bit crazy on this one.
Yeah.
Faunus we've talked about. The Elf Raider, I think it's just a character that you can do so much.
Elf Ranger, yeah.
What did I say?
Raider.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Maybe he'll do some raiding as well, but...
Maybe, they can bring some Shadow Elves in raiding everywhere. The Elf Ranger, you can use like soft good-tastic sort of thing, like a proper cloth hood. Although the figure's great, that hood looks out of place with the cloth cape.
Yeah.
A fancier bow, maybe. Some sort of horn to use to alert people.
Maybe it's slightly different unhelmeted head, a little bit less Legolas.
Yeah. That's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Although, did you guys? I don't know if you guys saw. There's the Liverpool Comic Con over here. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? And they had Orlando Bloom and the 4 guys that played the Hobbits.
Cool.
Were there doing photographs and this sort of stuff.
Wow,
and somebody had taken a picture of them. Somebody had taken a picture of them in a restaurant the night before. It's fair to say Orlando Bloom was enjoying himself. He looked absolutely hammered. Like they were all clearly, they're like celebrating with shots, and they were clearly enjoying themselves. But he looked so hammered.
Come to Legions Con. We've got a figure of you, mate. Better than the Toy Biz one.
Or the Steelhide, I talked about quite a lot
quite
a lot last week. I think just a taller build, less armored.
We're talking about Monkey King dwarf bits, aren't we?
Yeah. Freya, don't disagree with anything Mal said on that one. I quite like her helmet, the current one, but the face sculpt is a bit plain. So I think they could do more there, definitely.
Screaming Valkyrie.
Screaming Valkyrie would be awesome. And then you've got that if they ever do a Pegasus, because obviously, you can just chuck her on a Pegasus as well, and it's just like...
The other thing, it feels like they could incorporate that, not immortal is she really, but, that coming back to life thing somehow into the figure a bit more. I know it's like the story of the Valkyries, but,
they could give her one translucent head when she's regenerating.
There you go.
It would actually make sense. So, I would not be slagging off. I love translucent plastic, just in the right place,
Yeah. And as we discussed in the previous episode, her and Gorgo have clearly got it going on. So maybe a little picture frame of Gorgo would be another.
Let's not talk about demon wangs again now.
I was about to say.
I put Helmut Goldentooth in. I'd quite happily have him released as he is as part of an all-star wave, but obviously they seem to be veering away from that.
Yeah.
And having sold mine to Guion, it's one of the only a couple of figures I actually regret selling. So I'd love to see him again.
Yeah. So he has mismatched pauldrons, and he also has dirt on his boots, I think. Is that kind of stuff, I think, yeah. So.
And being an ex-gladiator, I think you could do more in terms of like bare arms or sort of soft good look to him rather than just this fully armoured look that he has at the moment.
Every time anyone says bare arms now, I just imagine the Bodvar arms stuck onto the thing.
Werebear. All the characters turn into werebears. It's like, here we go, yeah.
All the House of Noble Bear version 2s, they're werebears.
King Noglin. I think this figure is a brilliant figure anyway. But at the same time, this, the stuff they've got nowadays, they could do a better job with the armor. It could, he's obviously a goblin show off, so he could have some mismatched armor that he's got from other people, maybe. But it's quite fancy and ornate.
He features heavily in this Thousand Swigs story.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a battle. If we're going to do this story, we have to have a battle to see who voices King Noglin.
And maybe like a proper like gold crown or something rather than the sort of wooden one he's got at the moment.
That's so unique though.
I know, but I think he's a show-off goblin, so I think he'd like that sort of thing.
Maybe an alternative crowned head, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Morglyph is another one that I really like the current figure.
This is one I forgot about, to be honest, or I missed her, I don't know. I'm traumatized by her.
I mean, I'd be interested to see what they did with her, because that head sculpt is incredible already, sort of thing. But again, you could do better job with the soft, not better job, but bearing in mind the soft goods they have nowadays.
A better job. Yeah.
a thinner staff so she can actually hold it.
Yes. I think most of the studio would say what C. Jessom's doing now is better than what they were doing then. By a long way.
maybe sandaled bone feet stop them getting a bit sore with walking along on the plane.
Cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe bone sandals.
Maybe. You could even do something like, she's meant to see through the eyes of her warriors, isn't she? So you could even do like glowing eyes, like a glowing eye head sculpt for her as an additional one, so that it's like she's using that power and can see through.
Or glow, like Superman figures, with the glow coming out of the eyes.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
So I'd buy that. Lord Aiden, again, he's just an old character that, the elves are becoming far more prominent now. You could do an awful lot with him. Better weapons. A chirpier face, or maybe a bearded face. Let's different,
Yeah,
different
I think
ages of
maybe
Lord Aiden.
stoic is more. It's easier to do with a beard, is it? Because he just
probably.
looks pissed off.
Yeah. Grisha, again, this is just a list of figures I already like, but I'd love to.
It's your show, it's your choice.
I love what they're doing with the sort of Middle Eastern armor vibe, so I think they could do new things with a Grisha. Ideally, I'd want it 1.0 rather than 2.0, but I'm not sure they go that route. But again, it gives you much more of an option in terms of weapons, like more a new curved weapon or something that's clearly from that part of the world, sort of thing.
I wanted to include Grisha, but I found it hard to improve in the basic figure.
I'd say with him, he's so good as he is. Just leave him as he is and just create a new character that's got
in the same realm. Yeah. Might be better.
I love the head sculpt. I think it's one of my favourite ones in the line, but I'd happily see another version of that. Maybe if he's bored and he wants to change his look a little bit, because meant to be a bit, nobody knows what he or she is.
Like they've never got another use out of that tool, which is interesting.
Yeah. Malleus, nothing different to what Mal said. It's just boring, out of date, and needs a refresh. Xylona, I talked about swept back antlers. If we don't get that, it's a scandal.
I really want them to do that now.
Yeah,
it looks so silly,
it's just a thing now, isn't it?
Yeah. Carpathius, again, we've talked about him. Aetheron, I'd like to see bigger. I think with all the sort of great beasts, I want them slightly larger than life, sort of thing. And I know they haven't done that with the Dark Gods. They're all, other than Necronominus, who's a little bit taller.
Yeah,
they're all the same sort of sizes. But I think with the great beasts, it would just be good just to boost them up a little bit.
I think with those figures, right, the great beasts or whatever, and we're talking about Aetheron here is the one that we've got. Just completely retool him, make him bigger, give him more stuff, make him 70 quid, but like he's your daddy, he is.
Yeah.
Like, and then the other three as well, same sort of level, not going to be a $37 or $40 figure or whatever.
People would pay that. There's such
people are paying 300 quid for him now, or 500 quid for him now, whatever it is. What's he on the Jones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
He's missing his wings and one of his additional feet, so he's only 300 on it.
Yeah, so even an incomplete one, even for that, like, no offense, but that's tough.
Yeah, and then Queen Urksa, nothing different to what Mal said on that. Bigger.
Yeah.
1.0 scale would be great. I think was it you, John, that said about bone armor?
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I think that would be a really good fit for her as well.
Very good. Well done, Rich, on getting through all of them. That was amazing. Here's my Sunios. I maybe cheated a bit. I went with the Night Builder, Deluxe Night Builder from the Covenant of Shadow wave. The only figure that hasn't been reissued out of that wave, which is amazing. And I think that judging on the conversations they had recently on Jeremy's show, they're not going to re-release this one because they think that there's been so many good new parts that they're more likely to do like a different Night Builder with some more of the new parts, and I'd be down for that. So that's what I'm just putting it in. Mightn't even be a version 2, it might just be Night Builder 3, whatever it's called. So I'd be down for that. All your new night parts, maybe it's obviously soft goods or something. Some generic soft goods would be really cool, wouldn't it? Those blue, but in soft goods would be really cool. The thing the picture shows, it doesn't show here, and I believe you pointed this out before, Mal, is that there is a torso as well to match that skirt piece.
Yep. Yeah, there is, yeah.
So that's cool. We got Halmer, Golden Tooth. Yeah, you've said it all already, boys. I have him, but I think he's good enough to be just a straight reissue as well. But why not version 2 him at some stage if you're going to go that way anyway with a lot of the figures? Then I have a kind of a double here because they're linked in the story and they came together in the same wave. Is Ragna, which I think from everything I've heard from the studio over the years, they're not entirely happy with them, even though it's Jim's favorite figure that he said in interviews. I don't know if he was serious or not, but I don't think he's the type of guy that would say something like that. So he must like her.
I've seen Eric in 2 separate interviews say it's his least favourite figure.
Yeah,
so, done.
I think it was. I think he was restricted by parts, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And Thalen Frostbow. Then she's a very popular figure. I think she was very easy to get at the time when this was released and when it was in stock and everything. And there was, she was. But now people, I think, because she's so unique within the line, and obviously there's a lot more. Like you've got the Legions ladies now, which is a big group. You've got a lot more people that are into the line with different tastes, and she's definitely a figure that people want to get more of. Again, she's pretty good as is, but if you're going to improve Ragna, give her buddy, give that ice troll a proper battle.
Yeah, and you could find some sort of way with Thalen of incorporating some sort of ice feel to the armor potentially.
Yeah.
So rather than just the color, some of the sculpting or something like that could work well.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously with Neve out now, there's going to be a demand for Frost Elves anyway, isn't there?
Totally, yeah. So you could
how about translucent weapons? So it's if they're made from ice
frosty,
or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that would be good.
Awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah, or even translucent effects.
Yeah.
Kind of coming with the weapons.
Arrows.
Yeah, arrows.
Yeah.
Frosty arrows. Yeah. And then Ragna, you're talking about maybe using some of the new dwarf parts from the kit, or giving her more of a real dwarf scale and just differentiating the size from just the armor, or rather than like goblin scale here, which is not really great. It's cool, but it's unique at least.
I really like Ragnar, but I'm always happy to get more dwarves or version 2s of dwarves. So, yeah.
And an unhelmeted Ragnar as well, maybe?
That'd be cool. Yeah. Especially with how well they did with that female head for the dwarf builder pack. That's so good. It'd be nice to get a Ragnar version.
And we can find out then if the hair coming out the back of the helmet is actually her hair, or if it's just a helmet piece. Because she has because she has that kind of Gorgo helmet as well, but in this scale doesn't come with that many figures. So that is a kind of a more unique piece that comes with her.
Yeah, you could have some sort of facial tattoos or something going on. If you hadn't helmeted.
Or maybe this kind of really, shaved on one side, but like more than Juno, maybe really on like half her head, or half. Something really crazy anyway.
Or it's just a full-on mullet. All that stuff sticking out the back and then just shaved sides, full-on mullet.
Really, really bouffant at the front to really emphasize the mullet. Oh yeah, love it. Balam, I can't believe, Rich, you didn't have Balam.
He's on my list of the ones I would really like.
But you don't think. Okay. Yeah. I think Balam needs soft goods to get up to the level of his faction colleagues now. I think that he could do with an open-mouthed head sculpt too.
Yeah.
And better weapons. So that's really where we're going with Balam.
He's a funny one because I actually really, really like him in the armor.
He's brilliant.
I have him as more of a warrior than a magician, I suppose.
Magician, yeah.
Which is,
and I also can't believe any of the Legions Lounge guys didn't pick Balam as a mage. I mean, come on. You're getting everything there, Anyway, especially I think it was Nate, he had all the animals in his group, so, why not stick Balam in there? Maria Golden Branch then. I think if you're going to do Lord Aiden, do her as well then. Give her soft goods, give her a big cloak. Don't need to maybe change the head sculpt. The paint on those two are really good. I mean, a bit like Grisha as well. That wave, some of the paint on that small, scale of body, really, really good. Very hard to get a really good customizer to paint that good. So nothing wrong with that. But yeah, and then give her more interesting weapons. You know, she's look at the weapons there. It just looks like okay. This. There you go, love. You know?
Yeah, she's just run past the weapon rack, hasn't she? She's grabbed the first thing that came to hand.
Yeah, instead of, you know, she's quite high up in the elven court, so, you know, she need a bit better than that. Right, cool. Most wanted for Mal. And these will include ones we've mentioned already.
This is it, yeah. There'll be a bit of crossover. Well, there is a lot, isn't there, here from what I've talked about.
Which is fine. So we don't need to dwell on them, but we can definitely talk about them and obviously tell people who they are.
So, Otho, number one, I'd absolutely love to get him. If he wasn't so expensive, I'd pick up the old figure now. And it is purely that head sculpt is so cool. But I'd love to see an updated one with the blue cloth goods and all that. And I mean, we sort of briefly talked about it before, and the more I think about it, the more it'd be so cool if he had silver version of Attila's armor somehow. Or, maybe not all of it, but, you know, bits of it. I kind of like the idea of him having the silver helmet, but I don't think they'd do that.
Gotcha, yeah.
Urxa, I'd love Queen Urxa. But again, I'd love her in that female 1.0 scale. I really like what they're doing there. The more female figures we get like that, the better, in my opinion. You know, bit of variety. Not to say they should eliminate the 2.0 females at all, but it adds a nice bit of variety that you don't often see in figure lines.
Totally, yeah.
Same with Freya. Again, love her as she is. Wouldn't get rid of the current one if they did a new one, but I'd love to see her as a more like that classic Valkyrie of being a bit bigger. Malachi, I got the elf warrior in my mystery box, and that's what I said last week, and I've said to you guys, I've kind of fallen. I'm not fussed by the elves generally. I like Bardrick because he's different. I like Artemis because she's a bit different. But the rest of the elves, I'm a bit like, meh. But the dark elves, I got that dark elf warrior. And they're just they're cool. And then reading their bios, they're fun. I like that. That's, you know, a fun elf. And then the one that's probably second to Otho, but I left him till last because I haven't talked about him, because I'm not sure we will get him anytime soon. I mentioned him last week, is Jorund Rune Shaper.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love him as he is, to be honest with you. But I think it'd be really cool to get him again, because they've done so many of these new... what's the faction?
Basilia.
Basilia. With the cloth goods, and their cloth goods heavy.
And the magic effects.
Yeah, it'd be great to do that to him. I'd like to keep certain features and the colours, particularly, I'd like to keep. I like the winged helmet, so maybe just modify that slightly. But yeah, I'd love to get him as a version 2, or even just a re-release of his current figure. But I think when they do it, it'll be a version 2.
It's interesting that action shot is the only shot on the website under his character. It's funny, isn't it? I don't know who. It doesn't even say who said that. I guess it was somebody in the studio. I don't know, but yeah, interesting. All right, shall we move on to Rich?
Yep.
This was funny, Rich, for me because I looked at your most wanted, and there was the first 2 figures here, and then I actually did it, and then I was like, that's strange, he only wants 2. And then I went back and I scrolled down, and you had another page in the document you sent me. So I was like, this makes more sense. Right, let's get those. So some of these you haven't mentioned before, which is interesting.
I haven't, no. So Balaam, I would love another Balaam. I would want bare feet.
Bare
good
shout
hands as well in an ideal world, so you could pop some claws and that sort of thing. I'd also want a flocked version, even if it's just a head.
Oh yeah,
rather than everything.
Hook me up,
flocked version,
or an exclusive flocked version. I don't care. I pay eBay prices for that.
Yeah, and I would love to see this. it talks about him harnessing the power of creatures. A couple of little creatures to go with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like a bunny or something like that. They've done the small cuddly toy things for the Figura Obscura. So they've shown that they can do tiny little non-articulated figures. So let's have a bunny and a badger or something, or a squirrel. Or,
Because badgers are a menace. So, badger and the squirrel wouldn't work, though. Well, it would if Balaam was telling them what to do, but otherwise the badger would attack the squirrel. So,
yeah, so I'd love Balaam. Gadriel, again, the armor color and that is amazing, but that I hate the head sculpt. So I'd want a different head sculpt that looks a bit more angelic. Be that with some sort of halo type thing that can go on, or longer hair. I think would probably work better as well for that sort of angelic look. Again, I like the fact she comes with a hammer, but it's too big to hold. So again, scale that down a little bit and make that work better. So I'd love another one of her.
Funnily enough, I nearly went with her as well in my wanted list.
Jorund, same as Mal said, just more soft goods. I'd maybe take the armor down a little bit. Maybe some sort of cloth arms or something, or legs sort of thing, just to reduce that armor slightly. They could do so much more now with the magic effects. Grisha I've talked about. Galaron, same as you really, John. I quite like the backstory sort of thing, so an unhelmeted head would be great. That armor colour is brilliant as well, so let's find a way of getting him. Pixus, it's a great character, and I think they could do more with it. So at the moment, it's just obviously just got the Mercurian head. So let's have a different Mercurian head with a skeletal faceplate that you can put a human faceplate or something in as well if you wanted to do a different one further down the line.
I'd just really like this one. I'd take a version 2 as well. So
again, I'd be looking for bare skeletal feet, I think, with this guy as well. And just generally a dirtier look as well, sort of thing, that he's come through from from his background sort of thing. So just a dirtier look. Malleus, again, boring. Let's make him better. Halmir I've talked about. Juno, this is the other figure that I regret selling. But I'd want a bit, if they were to redo it, a bigger one. So brute scale again, like Neve.
No, there she's 1.0, not brute. Yeah.
Sorry, 1.0, not brute. Sorry, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah,
I mean, brute is compatible with 1.0, but you'd like a Neve scale. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that would fit the weapons better because she's got big bruising weapons, but doesn't look like she'd actually do that much with them at the moment. Maybe, and I don't want to sound prudish here, but maybe a little bit more in the way of clothing. I'm not a huge fan of the titty barbarian look, and I think she's probably the closest we come
barbarian,
to it.
Yeah.
I really like Juno, but again, she could face being a version 2.
Thistlethorn, I love the character. I think a version 2.
There you go, Jesse Arnold. See, we knew you'd get you covered.
We'd get another Fuzz Monk head sculpt out of it, so that would be good because people can repaint those all sorts of different colours and do cool stuff with the character.
He's one I'd actually think a little growling head sculpt would be cool. Because he just looks too soft and squishy, and I can imagine he's a proper little rip your head off character when he has to.
Yeah, the sort of guy, if you're having out in a few drinks and it kicks off, he's there.
Yeah, that's
he's like decimating the place. Yeah.
He's run in front of you, nutted the guy.
Exactly, yeah.
So clearly a tankard in the accessories, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
it,
I don't like the armor he's got at the moment. It's too, particularly, it's too like rigid and that sort of stuff. I'd like some sort of smoother look, or even more soft goods to it, to give him more of a foresty feel.
Okay, cool.
And then lastly, Faunus, I think I chatted at length about it last week, but some sort of tendrils, maybe an exposed torso with the soft goods going through it, a gnarly head.
More organic, isn't that what we'd say?
More organic, I like that, yes.
Yeah.
I think that sort of character would work really well with a beard. Not an evil goatee this time, but a full beard.
Maybe flocked beard?
Oh, ha, ha, ha.
Kind of green flock or whatever, yeah.
A little bit of flock dotted around would be very cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes,
so there's some of these again, that's a good idea for a custom,
Yeah. So there are a few of these that I don't think we'll get version 2s of, but I'd love to have them. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is your wish list, yeah. Right, mine, of course, a lot is covered, but number one, I think just want to have him in the collection at this stage. All down for the great beasts, so give us an Aetheron, but yeah, as I said earlier, just give us a big one. Give us a totally new tooled one. We have to pay for it, sure, but just go all out. The Knight Deluxe Builder, yeah, go crazy. We love Knights. Let us Legion build Deluxe Knights. Maybe give us the possibility to make 2 Knights in the one pack. Maybe charge a little bit more, but less than 2 figures. I don't know how you could squeeze that, but it would be just amazing. Well, that's something cool, no?
I mean, in the that Cosmic Legion builder, essentially, there's almost two characters.
Yeah, but there's always...
On the one character.
Yeah, 2 on the one, but there's always like your arms or legs you're missing.
Yeah.
To have 2. I'm just actually give us 2 figures, but...
2, yeah.
But like maybe for $60 somehow. Yeah. I don't know. Just make it amazing. Yeah. Well, it'll be amazing if it's just a couple of extra torsos or an extra pair of boots or something, that's also cool. But, talking Dreamland here. Urzok is another one. I need the leader of the Orcs army, I need him. He's a definite. Thord, again, very important character for the dwarfs, so he needs to be there. And Balam, I'll just take all the Balam we can get. I'll take the old one, the new one, whatever. So give us another one of him. Sound fair? So I think we've definitely covered version 2s. Shall we move on to Figura Obscura predictions? If you still have the energy, if you want to pause, get a cup of tea, get your breath back, and we can go for Figura Obscura.
My wallet is sobbing. I can hear it in the hall now. It is breaking down crying.
Tell you what, it is if you're going to buy all those we've just talked about. Righty ho.
Yeah.
Now we've got Figura Obscura, so I've compiled some pictures from online based on what mostly from GameSpot, I think is the name of the website. Based on what we talked about, they have a great list of characters with public domain license. So that's what we kind of looked at here, isn't it? Basically, we were not trying to put Figura Obscura characters that we know they'd have to pay license for, because that's not the thing. So Mal, you're up first here to go through yours.
Right.
And there's a little bit of crossover, but we can talk about them when they come. But we actually were pretty good in how we picked here. So we've all got about 6 or 7. So just for the listeners' benefit, so they know what to expect. Right, go for it.
So I'll go with what I think is pretty much been said. Yeah, without being said. So I think we're definitely going to get another one of the ghosts at some point this year. I actually think that.
I've got him. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I suppose what we're really meant to be talking about here is what we think we'll get next. But I thought I'd mention this because I think we'll get this, but I think we'll get this the end of the year in that slot that they do. Partly because they seem to like to do something a bit spooky around October, but also it fits the Christmas Carol and it's got everything. It's death essentially, isn't it? But there's
it's Maxilius the Harvester, no?
Yeah, it's perfect.
They can obviously.
Legions. Yeah.
So to explain the pictures we have here, the first one on the top left is from Scrooge, the 1970 film. The one in the middle and the bottom is from Scrooged.
The best version of this.
Yeah, there you go. That's why I put it in for
anyone that says different.
I know we have fans of that movie within the podcast and within the listenership. And the last one is from an ITV modern version of it.
Say EastEnders.
It's not Ross Kemp
is that
not
Ross Kemp?
Yeah, Ross Kemp is not the ghost of Christmas Preacher. He is Scrooge, or the Scrooge character, and the little boy is the ghost of Christmas Future.
Wow.
So I thought that was hilarious.
That's about as good as ITV sports coverage, isn't it? Dear me.
Well, the one.
So anyway,
the one in the, I forget what TV channel did it, but it's on iPlayer over here.
yeah, BBC then.
Is it iPlayer or not? But anyway,
not important.
There's a more modern one that actually Eric referenced as being somewhat the inspiration.
Cool.
For some of like Marley and the knocker on the door and all this.
Maybe I should have,
the death in the the Christmas of future or Christmas yet to come is a bit different in that one. He's a bit more shadowy and not quite so obviously death-like. But yeah, so
I also thought the one in the Muppets Christmas Carol looked very cool, but he was just basically a big black sheet, big black hood. Right, so your first one here on my slides that I did was John Carter from Mars.
These are the ones I'm like, well, what could we get soon? And I could see us in the next one. I could see us getting. You see, with Figura Obscura, it's so hard. It could be. We know it could be anything, but what I could see is John Carter from Mars because it fits Legions, Cosmic, and Mythic brilliantly. You could. Little bit of a tweak and you could put it in whatever collection, and I know they're not too worried about that, but
and the nice thing about this site I was looking up is it gives you a couple of different renditions of the character from different media, so he's a Confederate Civil War veteran and gold miner who's transported to Mars and through the course of his own adventures becomes a hero and a prince on the planet. Ooh.
Yes. So he's got sort of vibes of, various vibes, hasn't he? Vibes of Conan or those sorts of characters, or a bit more sci-fi, and they give him a bit more sci-fi stuff, gear and weapons. I mean, there's one there, it looks like he's wearing a bit more of a space suit, although actually it might meant to be his Confederate jacket, perhaps. And one there, he's wearing looks a bit Prince of Persia, where he's being chased by the alien. So actually, no, it looks like I take that back. It's a bit like the He-Man, New Adventures of He-Man kind of armor, which something like that would be quite cool. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's a possibility. If not next, maybe in the future, definitely.
Cool.
This one's rich.
A werewolf.
Well, this is on my what I want, but I don't think we're going to get it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'd love, as I know Rich would and yourself would, I'd love a werewolf at some point. I don't think this is going to be the next one by any means. I think we're probably a little way off this. I think sorry.
I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, Mel. I think we're more likely to get a werewolf through Mythic Legions than we are through Figura Obscura.
That's exactly
Eric's already talked about. There is definitely werewolves in Mythos.
Yeah, that's what I was
and he's
about
keen
to
to do
say,
it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, stealing your thunder.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think.
If I had an evil goatee, I'd be stroking it at this point.
And twiddling the mustache.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think he's spot on there. I think we're more likely to get it in Legions, Mythics.
Yeah, this reminds me. I mean, this veteran William figure from Fury Toys.
Yeah,
that kind of is great. And Monster Force, not to forget, it's coming soon. We got shipping notices yet.
I'm not sure we can say soon. It's gone back about 6 times so far.
Okay. It's a pity. Right, shall we move on then? So werewolf, right, here's another one you're hoping for.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love them to do some Cthulhu style stuff, but I don't think it's something they'll go near for various reasons. I think that possibly partly just because it's so familiar, they might leave it alone. We'll see though. I think if they did do it, it'd be excellent. So, yep.
Is he always really big? I haven't really read anything about. I know the character. I've not read anything about it. Is it
Cthulhu? Well, I don't know if Cthulhu himself is, and various like the great old ones are. huge. Yeah, they're ginormous. But there's all sorts of. I don't just mean that. I mean, anything Cthulhu related. Which, yeah, as I say, I don't think they will do.
Right. The Three Musketeers, and you specifically said the Three Musketeers as a 3-pack?
No, I wouldn't. It's one of those. It's which one do you pick? I noticed Rich had D'Artagnan on his list. Yeah, I nearly put D'Artagnan.
I went for the fourth Musketeer.
yeah. Any of them. They're all really cool. It'd be awesome. It was, funnily enough, mentioned on Legion's Lounge, was it? No, it might have been one of the many shows that the Mythic Enablers were on that week. Joe, someone asked, and Joe said he'd like the Musketeers, and I'd love one of the Musketeers. I think it would just look awesome.
It would.
Yeah.
The sword types are just so different to anything we've got at the moment.
The sword would be amazing.
Great.
And are we talking a lot of soft goods, or are we talking more Marley type jackets? Or
for me, something like what Marley's got would work. The design I've really, really like and really made me want them is there's a French. I think they're doing a trilogy, but the first one was called D'Artagnan.
Okay,
and they're doing and the second one's. It's not De Winter, but it's about it's her name is the name of the second one, and that's going on at the moment. Not the moment, the first one was a couple of years ago. Next one's due soon, and their outfit designs and that's so cool. They look.
Are they the more modern type of leather type stuff? Or
I'll try and find
that. Yeah, okay.
Picture. Yeah.
I saw that when I was going through the different pictures. Then we've done the Ghost of, and then we have Long John Silver. This was also on is also on your list.
So I
think
this
is the last one for you, Mal.
I think we're definitely going to get a pirate at some point. Whether we get, I could see it sooner rather than later. But sorry, trampling on Rich a bit here, but.
No, it's fun.
I know Richard sort of said he thinks Blackbeard would be cool and would be awesome, but I'm not sure it'll be Blackbeard that we get just because he's a real person or based on a real person. So I think we're more likely to get Long John Silver or Captain Hook. Either of them would be cool. I actually quite like the idea of Captain Hook with a little hook. And if they wanted to push the boat out, he could come with a big TikTok. But I mean, they've been doing that sort of thing with with the Figura Obscura, haven't they? You wouldn't be surprised to see an alligator the size of or crocodile, sorry, the size of the package in there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, the more I think about it, Mal, the more I agree with you, actually. I think Long John Silver in particular is more likely than a Blackbeard, just for the literary sort of feel to it. And then you get Peg Leg as well, obviously, which would be superb.
Yeah, so either of those two. I did actually add another one more recently. I know you might not
tell us.
Pictures.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
I could see us getting something more Eastern, and this is based on. There's been a bit of talk, and Eric sort of commented he'd like to do more of that sort of stuff. So I could see us getting it kind of fits with the pirate, although it's not a pirate, it's a sailor. It's Sinbad, or Aladdin kind of fits in with that as well. Thief. Sailor, sort of, they're very sort of, they all fit in the same world. Aladdin and Sinbad do a bit.
Very good. I believe Rich might have that covered as well here. Rich, do you want to start with possibly one of my number one wants? I didn't cover it now because you covered it.
Yeah, I think this one is possibly the most likely out of all the ones on my list for the next one. I should say my list doesn't really have any Christmassy or horror stuff because I wanted to try and focus on what I think we're going to get.
Absolutely, yeah.
This time, but Pigsy. The bottom right picture is from the amazing
Journey to the West Monkey King.
Yeah, amazing Japanese TV series of it. He's on the box art.
That's the one in the middle there.
You got soft goods. You can have a cool rake weapon. I'd love to see what Eric would do with a sort of pig head as well. So and it would make sense to do Pigsy. I mean, the only thing I guess is if they're not too careful, they might find themselves doing all the Monkey King characters at this time of year, and then all the ghosts, and the Scrooge stuff later on, and then all of a sudden they're tying themselves down to stuff a little bit.
So that's what would pull me away from this happening, but would still be sweet. Then we have Sinbad, as Mal was mentioning.
I Sinbad, and I also had Alibaba sort of thing. So if they wanted to avoid the sailor type stuff, then you can have, piles of treasure, loads of scope for soft goods, sort of flowing, the wider, baggier trousers, even if they really wanted to go down more Mezco sort of a route.
And it's also, because we get a lot of new tooling with Figura, it's very hard to predict what would be used for these type of figures, because they generally do seem to debut new parts. Apart from after Krampus, they when that was a success, they decided to use the tooling.
Yeah, so I'd love, again, the Middle Eastern sort of style and feel to stuff. Eric likes it. I'd love to see more of that in the line.
Awesome.
Any of the lines, but yeah, I think it'd work here.
So
Odysseus is slightly more left field. It's probably the least likely of the stuff I've got, but it gives a chance to get Greek style armor and weapons.
This is your area of expertise, or one of them.
It is. I studied this at university, so the Iliad and the oh god, what's the other one called?
He's so long in the civil service now, he's forgot his education.
Yeah, the Iliad and the Odyssey. So I know the background. I really like the Greek style of stuff as well, sort of thing. It might be a bit too Mercurian, maybe, if they wanted to go down a different route. But in terms of like a Figura Obscura and the accessories, you could have, at one point, Odysseus is strapped to the mast so he's not tempted by the sirens. So you could actually have a mast with him, with like stuff to tie him to the mast, sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Tempted.
Yeah.
Moving off, that would be a really cool accessory. And then maybe a Cyclops head or a Cyclops skull or something like that as well.
Okay,
because
that's in the
island with that. Yeah.
So, just for the listeners here, just to read the little blurb: Odysseus led his army in the Trojan War. After the war, they encountered Sidon, god of the sea, Cyclops, sirens, Ceres, and the sea dragons. After 20 years, he returned home to fight for his kingdom and his queen.
Just to be a nerd, I think that would be Circe.
Circe, sorry. Okay, should have told me.
No, he wouldn't let you embarrass yourself first, then slam you down afterwards.
Fair.
But again, with Odysseus, there's the thing about him firing an arrow through lots of rings, sort of thing, to prove that he is who he claims he is, sort of thing, because they all presume he's dead, and it's an imposter that's come back.
Yeah. Right. D'Artagnan, then?
D'Artagnan we've covered. Again, it's the soft goods, the different type of sword, a fancy beard.
Rich is very onto the beards tonight.
I'm really onto the beards tonight. It's almost like I've got a giant beard myself that I'm going to shave off, so I'm getting attached to it.
Well, tell you what, give us a goatee for next week, Rich. That sounds good. And
my
a
good lady
goatee
wife would actually kill me. So
right, a goatee rhymes with Don Quixote. So there you go.
I really like the idea of having Don Quixote. Just there's like a comedy element to it, so you go down pretty much any route you want to in terms of the look and that sort of thing. It's got the conquistador sort of vibes generally, but you can come with a lance. You could have like the windmill sail accessory, maybe. As he's trying to fight those, and it just gives you lots of scope to do different things with.
And I see from the
Halvo did a custom of it, sort of thing, and it worked brilliantly in the sort of mythic realm. So I'd love to.
That was good, actually. Yeah. And I see here from the pictures he was in Deadpool comic at some.
I was going to say, is that Deadpool at the bottom right? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. I'm sure our Deadpool fans can tell us. I'd be down for him. I mean, he might have to come with a horse then as well. So we're talking about Headless Horseman.
That's the other thing, yeah. So the cost would obviously then go up.
Yeah. Well, more money for them, less money for us. Right, this one you need to tell us more about, because I hadn't rashes when you told us this.
Yeah, he's a character from like 19th century literature.
Who is
And
it?
it's like a typical Alan Quatermain, so it's like a typical big game hunter type sort of character. Typical European in Africa sort of thing. But there's a couple of films in the 80s starring Richard Chamberlain as Alan Quatermain. Both really good films, actually. One of them
Looks
almost
like
made
Connery played him as well. Is that Connery?
Sean Connery played him in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was a god-awful film.
Okay.
So let's skip past that bit. No, you go, Mal.
Because I've not read it, but apparently the comic is very, very good, and the film was a letdown. So,
Yeah. Which happens an awful lot
Usual,
until Marvel
yeah.
got their hands on stuff. Yeah. But here you could have like a hunter's wide-brimmed hat, that sort of typical look that you feel. Soft goods safari outfit type hunter sort of look as well. Like a rifle and bullet belts. I'm not sure whether that would be too far down the sort of route that the horsemen don't want to go in terms of guns and like hunting trophy and all that sort of thing. They might not want to, but as a character and from the films, I love the films, so I would love to have Alan Quatermain.
Would he come with an opium accessory?
Well,
He's
you never know. I
opium
mean, if they
addicted.
really want to push the boat out, they could do that. But
Okay, cool. That's very unique. Definitely love that you came up with something like that. Long John Silver, which we talked about as
we
well with Mal.
discussed anyway. Yeah.
Hercules.
oh yeah,
Again,
From
this
House
is
of
back-
the Noble Bear.
No. So this again is back to the Greek sort of thing. So you could have it gives you the option of doing like different shins and wrist straps to be more like that sort of Greek feel to it. He has a lion. Quite often he's portrayed with a lion head or lion pelt headdress sort of thing. So that would be a really cool look as well. And you could have sandaled feet and bring those.
So he's a mixture of Attila and Atlas.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. The heck is wrong with you? But obviously, he has all his trials and that as well, Hercules. So again, that gives you the option for like accessories and that sort of thing.
Hercules would be a really cool one.
Oh yeah, he was on my list, and then I saw he was on yours, so I said that's fine. I'll leave him off. Awesome, really awesome.
Yeah, if he's holding a Hydra head or something, that would be
Yeah, and then this is another great one.
Yeah, this is my.
about this.
I'm not doing horror, but entry. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I would love a 2-pack. So you'd have one skinnier build, maybe a 2.0 human, again with a sort of suit, so you can go soft goods, or you can just use some of the cloth arms they have at the moment, and then a brute scale Hyde. So just that bigger look, that more intimidating look. Or the other option is you can go one figure, like a 1.0 scale with just different heads. And then maybe a bigger torso for Hyde. I think, if the brute torso would work fine with the 1.0 arms and that sort of thing. So just, you can just swap the torso on and just have a bigger torso with a different head sculpt.
I thought about this one because it fitted with that sort of gothic horror that they seem to be going down that route with some of the figures more than, when it comes to horror. Other
We
one,
might have to wait till Halloween for it, but yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
And I think it gives us the option for a top hat, and like a longer coat sort of thing, which I think would be cool things, and like little potion bottles as well. And then people can take one of the potion bottles and give it to Swig maybe, and then calm down about that.
Maybe we'll get back to having one swig. Take one swig of that, and we're back down to one swig. Right. Here's my list. So number 1 is my favorite character from childhood. I can't count the number of sticks I carved and bent and put string between as a kid and pretended to be Robin Hood. Between the amazing Robin of Sherwood series on British television, and then the Kevin Costner movie. There was another movie around the same time with what's his name? Oh, can't remember. It's the one I went to the cinema to see. I thought I was going to see the other one.
Oh, it's with the Irish actor, isn't it? In the lead
Yeah,
role.
Patrick Bergin. That's it. Sorry.
Yes.
So anyway, Robin Hood. awesome. They already have the parts pretty much. I mean, they could do a unique head sculpt, but other than that, everything is there. He'd be great. Soft goods or no soft goods. Any era of him, you know. I'm not sure the Men in Tights one would be too excited about.
We need there you go. We need a Dread Pirate Robert, so they need to do a Carrie Elves head sculpt.
Yeah. And, you know, accessories, you know, big pile of money in a bag, you know, bunch of gold coins, that kind of stuff, as well as obviously your bow and your arrows. And
could this, because I looked at Robin Hood too, could this lead to the same sort of conundrum with some of the other ones where if you do Robin Hood, all of a sudden you need to do Friar Tuck, Little John.
Of course, people would love that.
And then all of a sudden they're taking up several places in their
but I don't think they're going to do that. I think Figura Obscura is about the main character. Now the ghosts might be different, but the way to do the ghosts next is to probably do them in a 3-pack or whatever, you know, like just do a kind of pack that covers all the characters, and then if you want to buy 2 of the pack to get your 3 ghosts, whatever.
Well, I could see them doing 2 of them together, because I can't remember which one it is. I think the Ghost of Christmas Past is like a little impish sort of childlike character. So that with something else they'd probably do, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that would be good.
Maybe.
Right. This was another cool one. Red Riding Hood and Wolf. So just a Red Riding Hood here, but it would be the Red Riding Hood and Wolf in a 2-pack. As you see here down the bottom, the pictures look a bit different. This one in the middle I had to bring in from another place because there was just lots of sexy versions of Red Riding Hood in these pictures, which, okay, fine, but that's not my Red Riding Hood. And even the one here is looking a bit sexy, but the wolf and the kind of other picture here, the wolf in the bed with the thingy on, the woman's, the old
little granny's hat.
Yeah.
If
That's
they did that, I would die a happy man when my time came. I tell you, it's awesome.
Yeah. And even the main picture here at the top is the wolf is awesome, and then you have this really like, you know, play-by model Red Riding Hood, which is like, no thanks. And then you have this really sinister looking one with the blood on her face, which is again probably no thanks. I'm more towards this old-fashioned version. Would be amazing.
There's a Teen Titans episode, the cartoon there, where they're telling folk stories, and one of them is Red Riding Hood, but she eats the wolf, not the other way around. She's just got this insatiable appetite, so he eats the wolf and then has to look after his family because she's awesome.
That must be from that genre of story. So. You'd be happy if you had Red Riding Hood, and
that'd be as long as the wolf's included as well. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's essential. Yeah. Be awesome. King Arthur is a great one. I mean, more knights, please. I know you could say, "Oh, you have enough knights in Mythic and blah blah blah," but this would just be a cool one.
And the Sword and Stone. The accessory sort of thing. Would be killer.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And if you really want to go crazy, the round table as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then you just buy 4, you know. Oh, also possible. But yeah, if you had the round table, then you have a great display piece for.
They could do a round table as a bath piece in all future Figura Obscuras, so you couldn't see it in the box. It wouldn't distract from the visual image you've got. But if you wanted to open it, there's a little part of a round table that you can add. Just keep going,
like a little pizza slice of a round table.
I've opened my Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I've got another piece of the table, and here are my ghosts, and another.
Only
piece
another
of the table.
6 Figura Obscuras, and I've got a round table. And it comes with a stool, obviously. Each table piece comes with a stool.
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, Hercules, you covered, Rich. I had to keep it in because I really think it's cool. And I'd really want it. And that first picture on the bottom row here, if people are looking, it's the kind of more barbarian with the, as Rich was describing.
He's not a barbarian.
Yeah, but barbarian looking, with the kind of the headpiece, the lion mane headpiece. Amazing. I think if the Horsemen were to do it, would be maybe more of a helmety type thing. Then we move on to the tiger from the Monkey King. I found out his name is the Vanguard Tiger, and the best picture, and the only good picture I could really find of him, was from the box art of the Figura Obscura. But I mean, look at that figure. I mean, just a tiger. Any excuse to get a tiger figure from them. It's awesome. And, you know, you want a werewolf, Mal? There's your werewolf arms.
Oh, that's
out there.
Yeah, you start to get the parts for other things as well. So, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so he'd probably be, just because I'm a cat person, he'd probably be higher on my list than Pigsy, but I would also be delighted with Pigsy. If you can forgive me, Rich.
No, I would love this character. I'd have no problem if they did him rather than Pigsy.
Yeah, and again, he has a cool kind of almost like a machete type sword looking like there in the picture. So, you know, another sword. And then my last one there, also Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You said it best, but this would be an awesome selection for Figura Obscura, and you could really go so many ways with it.
Yes,
as you said, a 2-pack or the half head type thing here, like they have, is also a funny representation, or, you know, swappable face masks, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the 2-scale character, that's the ultimate level here. So
yeah, I'm thinking about, I talk about potion bottles, but you could actually have a spilt potion bottle too. So he's taken it and then dropped it on the floor because they've done the puddle of blood, obviously. So much smaller.
And you could have Swig coming in the back door going, "What's this on the floor?"
I'm not sure we want Swig coming in the back door, John. That's a very different take on the story. Yeah.
Right.
Swig
so that was us. I did ask.
I'm not reading the 1,000 Swig story now. It sounds like a gangbang. I'm not going down that route.
I did ask our Patreons for their answers for what Figura Obscuras they'd want. So I'll read those on our Discord. They sent us messages. So Dave Derrick says the Jersey Devil. He says some things about the residents of New Jersey, that they talk a lot about it. Maybe not. Maybe too much, his opinion, but let's just say we love everyone from New Jersey and we visit there every November, and we've always had a good time. If we have a
Jersey Devil, would it come with the freeway section as one of the accessories? Because that's New Jersey, isn't it? Just freeways everywhere.
Seems to be where we end up anyway. Yeah,
it's anywhere we are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I preferred last year's hotel, but the location of the previous one, because you could walk from it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah.
Anyway. For some, and he says they think it's more famous than Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster combined. Hopefully this has not affected Eric's brain. So far, we've managed to see more literary in Figura Obscura. I'd love to see Sherlock Holmes, Robin Hood, Ganesh, or Wizard of Oz. I mean, they're all cool ones, I have to say.
The Wizard of Oz is one that I wouldn't mind, but again, it's that problem of who do you do and what do you do and all that. I'd love anything sort of Scarecrow related is kind of cool, but really, if you're going to do Wizard of Oz, it's Dorothy, isn't it? If you're not, or the Wizard, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think Sherlock Holmes would be cool as well, but it would be really stepping outside the parts of what do we have, you know? You know, that would really be... but again, that's their problem to solve, I would say.
Yeah. And again, does he come with his opium pipe, that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, we could have a whole opium team figures here. Yeah. Right. And then we have Jeremy Govier. He says, I'm hoping for Native American folklore like Coyote, Wendigo, Skinwalker, or maybe some Aztec mythology I'm not at all familiar with. So That's awesome. It's also cool that people, I think after a couple of the figures that we've got so far, they're not too worried about knowing the property that it is. They just know that they'll get a cool figure and it'll maybe get them more interested in the property, you know? Does that make sense?
When we got the grey body, I did wonder if that might be the body we need to get something like a Wendigo, because it's usually long.
Yeah.
But I do think they could lean into more Native American style stuff. That'd be cool.
I think
Again, it's
not be surprised.
You know, they, as Wyatt has told us, they have Sherry, who's a Native American in their team, so she'd be able to advise them on any sort of cultural sensitivity stuff. So they wouldn't be stepping on any toes there. So it could be really awesome. Right. And Kevin M. Boots, he says Red Riding Hood and Wolf. So we've covered that, Kevin. I hope you're happy with our suggestions. Then we have Ralph. We also asked about version 2s, but most of them focused on the Figura Obscura, so I hope they managed to get through the first half of the episode okay. Balam is his favourite for version 2, with less armour and some of the new magic stuff from Pox's Wave. And I think, as we said, more animal parts, so like the claws, maybe even unarmoured arms or something would be cool. Figura Obscura, you'd like something Western style. So we talked a bit about Western Legions before. Buffalo Bill, Wyatt Earp, Lucky Luke, or an American werewolf. So they're all awesome choices, I think. No?
Oh, definitely.
Right, Mal, you also sent me through the Dogtanian stuff from that movie. So
yeah.
I really like that look. Yeah, that's slightly different to what I was talking about. That's way better. So with the leather boots, there we go with your leather boots.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got them from Marley and.
I'm slightly
Kern
worried
Ray.
about Miles' obsession with leather boots. So imagine he's got a folder on his computer, just like leather boots.
Just on
folder,
action
click.
figures.
It's like, oh dear.
Just on action figures.
Aramis is the third one from this side, and he's got the actual Marley style boots on, riding boots.
Oh yeah. He does, doesn't he?
So yeah, in that picture,
and the hats are awesome as well.
Yeah, that was when they're wearing them as well. They're big floppy hats with the feathers and the So in that picture, it's D'Artagnan at the front, Porthos next to him, Aramis next to him, and Athos. No, got that. Have I got that the right way around? Is the older Rich? Can you remember older ones?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm sure I've got that the right way around, but
yeah. Let's be confident. Go with it. Right, yo. Right, I think that's all we have. My last piece of advice for everyone is to avoid Retro Troy's Hamburg on eBay, who are scalping the rare figures from the mystery boxes now, or all the figures. Red Shield Soldier, if you open them, it's 155. Cador is 200. Godfrey is 200. So they'll never sell. So best of luck to you. Official retailer as well for Horsemen. So, maybe, I don't know what your policy is on that, but it's not cool. No respect for the community there with those prices. You can charge what you like, but come on.
Yeah, they're just trying to hope somebody hasn't realised that there's been a recent mystery box sale and they can just charge whatever they like, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's like they've, we've come across these rare figures. It's like, no, you just spent money that you got off some more poor unfortunate that overpaid for a valiant night off you. And now you're trying to scalp them on this. Yeah. So I hope they got the 1,000 swigs in their mystery boxes. Alrighty. On that positive note, let's get out of here. Thanks for that, boys. That was fun. Predictions are always fun, I find. And hopefully we'll get to be proved wrong very soon.
Fingers crossed.
We want some more money to be given away.
Yeah.
Our money to the Four Horsemen.
Stay safe, everybody. Don't crash your car while you're trying to think what Figura Obscura will come out.